Hey, what's up? I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do lighting in your Doom maps to make it look better. And the first method is going to make it look nicer, and the second method is going to make it look even nicer. So what I've got here is just essentially a very small map. It's just a corridor with some lighting inset into the walls and some gradient lighting drawn in it to make it look a little bit more atmospheric. And if I just start the map, you can see what that looks like. So there you go. As you can see, it's pretty basic, and probably the number one thing that's going to jump out is this wall here looks really out of place. It looks pretty shit, to be honest. It's way too bright compared to the walls around it. So first thing I'm going to show you is a very simple trick to make that go away. So just get out. And what we're going to want to do is just zoom all the way in here to where our inset light detail is, like that. And we're just going to want to grab this line. And you want to shrink the grid right down for this. And basically draw a really tiny triangle in front of it, like that. Go back into 3D mode there. And what we want to do is just grab the little triangle like this and essentially make it the brightness value that we want, which will be, in this case, it's going to be 128 because the surrounding floors and ceiling sectors are 128. And straight away you can see that it's essentially removed that excessive brightness from that wall. There's another thing you can do, because obviously we've changed a floor and ceiling value, is, as you can see right here, we've got a tiny little dark spot like that, and most of the time it's not going to be noticeable. I mean, it's noticeable right now because we're looking at it. But if you want to get rid of it, it's really quite simple as just grabbing it, roll it into the floor, like that, and just leaving the sides untextured so that the game doesn't draw it. And then I'll show you what that looks like. And as you can see, it's basically not showing up at all. So we can compare it to the one over here. And it already looks a lot better. But what if you wanted to actually take this further? Well, there is a way that you can do that. So what I'm going to do is get out again. And I'm going to do this over here on this side so that you can really see the comparison. And once again, we're going to want to basically draw our little triangle here. Just repeat the same steps as before. Roll it into the ground. And change it. So if you've ever mapped in Boom, you're probably aware of what a property transfer is. So if we were mapping in Boom, and I wanted to make the ceilings of this sector, or the floors, the same brightness value as the ones surrounding it, all we'd have to do is draw a dummy sector or control sector outside the map, stick a line action 242 on it and give it the tags that we want, and it would basically do that for us. But if you're mapping in limit removing or even vanilla, you have to do it in a slightly different way. So what we're going to do is basically the same again over here. We're going to draw some really tiny triangles again. And we're going to want to do it inside our little gradient lighting bits here as well. And then we're going to want to do that again. Now, you can do it one of two ways. You can do it outside, or you can do it on the inside. And just for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to do it on the inside. Because really the distance involved is so small that it's really not going to be noticeable. Okay, we've done that, so now the next thing we're going to want to do is grab all of the ceilings, and this time we're going to roll the ceilings up. And it's quite important to do this pretty high up. I think you want it to be at least 512, assuming your default floor and ceiling values are 0 to 128. You want to do it to at least 512. I don't think there's a hard and fast rule, but you want it to be far up enough. You could do it higher if you want, maybe 768. Yeah, we'll just leave it like that. And maybe you can already see where this is going, but basically what we're going to want to do now is grab our first set of tiny sectors here, the rearmost ones at the back. And we're going to drag those down to probably about here, like that. And these do want to be textured. So we texture those, upper unpeg them so they look right. And then we're going to want to grab these and lower unpeg those so that that also looks right. And now what we want to do is grab these ones again. And these ones we're also going to make the brightness value of the surrounding ones that we want, so 128 again. And you should have something that looks like this. Alright, now if we've done this properly, we start the map and it should look pretty cool. There we go. So just by doing a little bit of messing around, we've ended up with some, as far as the Doom engine goes, kind of realistic lighting, especially in comparison to how it was when we started, and in comparison to this where we have it on the ceiling there. Now, I think that looks pretty cool, but if you want to take it further, you can do this, and it does look really good. There's a couple of things that you want to bear in mind. If you are mapping in vanilla, this is going to chew up a lot of your viz planes, so you do have to be quite selective about where you do it. But if you're mapping in limit removing, obviously you can just do whatever you want, and you don't have to worry about a thing. So there you go, I hope that was helpful.